Good morning, Knights. Today is April 17th, 2020. I'm Lauren Stapleton, and you're watching Night TV.
Welcome everyone to It's Complicated. I'm Vinny alongside Kevin Bosker and Shrikar. How are you guys?
Same as usual.
Doing good.
Well, let's get right into it. The NFL draft is this Thursday, and it will be conducted virtually due to the current COVID-19 situation. Shrikar, what are your thoughts on the draft?
Well, I think the biggest story coming into the draft is Tua Tagovailoa. Normally, he might be in the number 1 or number 2 pick overall, but because of the injuries that have happened every year at Alabama, he slid a bit. And you'd have the Dolphins at 5 looking for a quarterback, the Chargers as well, as I don't think they're sold on Tyrod Taylor. And it can fluctuate between the two because due to the injuries, they could choose Justin Herbert ahead of him. But I think that's a story because nobody really knows where he's going to go. And his team has put out videos of him looking healthy. They've said he's healthy consistently. So I think there should be a consensus around the league that he is healthy. So I think that's the biggest story.
More than often than not, the QBs always steal the headlines. And I really think this wide receiver class should be a little more respected. You got CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs III, 3 elite wide receivers coming into this draft. And honestly, I honestly think this is one of the best wide receiver classes that we've had in years. You have CeeDee Lamb, who is an incredible route runner at OU. And then Mr. Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs, who've been just so fundamentally important to that Alabama offense. Ruggs, who posted a 4.27 40 time. Like, these kids can play, and I would expect that whatever team they land on, they're going to make a huge impact from the get-go.
Well, speaking of great players, the NFL and the Pro Football Hall of Fame have announced the 52 players and 2 head coaches selected to the 2010s All-Decade team. Tom Brady, who is starting over with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, was one of just 8 players unanimously voted to the squad. So I'll start with you, Kevin. Do you feel like anyone was left off the list?
I think a big name that was left off the list was Mr. Drew Brees, and arguably a lot of people would say he deserves a spot over Mr. Aaron Rodgers. And well,
wow,
I would agree with him. I think someone else on the show would not, but let me get into my argument.
You're a ridiculous human being.
Anyways, Mr. Brees, he has posted over 5,000 yards for 4 seasons within the 2010s, and one of the things I've just seen with him is that he has been consistently good. Like he's always been a player that New Orleans can depend on. I mean, he's been on bad teams on the 7-9. He's been on 4 bad teams, 7-9 4 times. And imagine what they would be without him. Like, Brees honestly deserves some respect for the accomplishments he's met in the last decade. And honestly, quite frankly, over Aaron Rodgers, it is a huge debate. Obviously, that means we're going to hear him debate a little more, but I feel like at the end of the day, Brees does deserve his spot.
Well, you're wrong. There's no surprise in that, honestly, to me. I stopped listening as soon as you said Drew Brees over Aaron Rodgers. Kevin Bosker, if Aaron Rodgers is watching this, after I make my argument, I want you to apologize to that bad man. Kevin Bosker, Aaron Rodgers has made a Super Bowl in this decade. Drew Brees has not. Aaron Rodgers has 2 MVP awards. Drew Brees has none. Aaron Rodgers has reached 4 NFC championship games. Drew Brees has reached none. The Packers are in the Super Bowl mix every year because of Aaron Rodgers. You didn't hear about this. You didn't hear about really the Saints being Super Bowl contenders, did you? In the early part of the decade, you heard about Drew Brees just throwing up interceptions, really. Aaron Rodgers has been the best player in this decade, the most talented thrower of the football. I don't know how you don't see this. Now I will accept your apology.
Let's end the show, shall we?
Well, that's all the time we have for this week's edition of It's Complicated. Thank you for watching, and tune in soon for more.
Crazy time, the College Board has released some information regarding AP testing. Now that we are no longer on campus to have pre-registration sessions, it's the students' responsibility to select colleges to send their scores to. Select Campus Send within your account and identify colleges to send your AP scores to for free. They also recommend changing your email within your College Board account if you've used your Frisco ISD email. Students will eventually lose access to their Frisco ISD email account and will need to access College Board account while in college. In regards to AP test refunds will be given to any student who did not take the exam. Students do not need to complete a refund request. Refunds will be processed as quickly as possible, but Frisco ISD will not be issuing refunds till June or July. On another note, due to changes in the test length for AP Calc BC, students will have the choice to take either the BC or AB test, as the College Board will not count AB subscores. This decision needs to be made by April 20th to Ms. Mayfield and your calculus teacher. Well, that's all I have for you today, Knights. Be sure to check your emails regularly for more information from your teachers, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at IHS Knight TV. I'm Lauren Stapleton, and remember to keep it noble, Knights.